TGIF. Yay! We've made it, you guys. We're to the end of the first week of daily creative challenges for Photoshop this week. And apparently today, December 5th, if you leave your shoes outside and Saint Nick will put something in them, like candy and such, says Sean Sean, I can't remember the last name now. Oh no, I lost it. But yes, this is apparently a very special day, so leave your shoes outside. Although I've done that before and all you get is bugs. I mean, maybe I've been just too bad, you know? Oh yeah, there we go, Sean Cosell. Lovely to see you guys all in the chat. Hi Cecilia, good morning. Andreas, Sam Peterson, of course. We got Bobby, good morning everybody. Aria says, my kitties stick their head in wood and clothes, lol. I love hearing that. All the information about your pets, very welcome here. Kendall says, I had flashbacks to my 365-day lettering project just now. Oh my gosh, that that is a deal. If you guys have ever done like a daily challenge for any period of time, you know exactly how hard that can be to keep up with. So welcome to the challenge today, guys. I am so glad to see you in the chat. It means we're all together in this. The solidarity is very strong in this group of people. I know that. The Daily Creative Challenge, if you haven't been here yet, is a set of challenges that I present every week. There is a link below this video where you can find this page that kind of walks you through the process. So each day you're going to receive a challenge, you're going to join the community chat to get feedback and give feedback and stay connected. You're going to watch the daily live show so that you keep up every day on what exactly we're using as a prompt. And then finally you're going to share your work. And so this is where we get feedback from others, we give feedback, and we make our work together stronger. And this is one of the ways you can do it is the Discord. This is the Photoshop Discord. I love seeing your guys' work. Right now I'm hanging out a lot in the current challenge tab where we see just everybody's new work coming in. There is a link to the Discord so you can get to that. It's right here. Woohoo! This is the Photoshop one. There are other ones for different programs. So if you use Photoshop regularly, I highly recommend checking out all the tabs in our Discord and just chatting with people. All right, I want to check out the Discord at the end of the day as well, just so we get a feeling for what people are posting. And then the way that this works sometimes is if you have this challenge done really quickly in the day, which I think the turnaround is like super fast, but you guys are so good at hitting it. Then on Adobe Live later in the day, there is a prize for people that will do the chat and win for sure. But also there's just a ton of attention going towards all the daily challenges and what people are putting out. I mean, I see likes coming up live in the Discord right now. That's the kind of energy we have, people. Thank you, Sam Peterson, for putting the link there. And if you have any questions at all about how any of this works, just let us know. There's plenty of people here to help get through all of this together. And I want to jump right into the challenge today. The idea behind these challenges are that they can be done on desktop Photoshop or the iPad version of Photoshop. So I want to jump in first on the iPad today, and then we can finish it out on the desktop version, just to show you exactly how flexible everything is. So we've got our iPad here. Thank you, Paco. And we've got all of my cloud files, so you can see some of the past day challenges here. And we're gonna open this one, which is a little bit different from the starter file that I gave to you guys, but you have basically all these letters set up for you in the starter file. So these are letters that I have set up in a little like playful way, and you'll see exactly what I have in plan for them today. The idea behind this challenge is all about text. So we have some powerful things that we can do in Photoshop with text, but honestly, I'm a pretty basic person when it comes to text. I have never done like hand lettering, so I rely on the text tool pretty heavily. And one of my favorite things to do, I actually mentioned it in the Discord the other day, is lay something out in text. So all the kerning, all of the like, you know, serifs, any of that text stuff that you might not know because not all of us went to typography school, is all laid out. It's all taken care of. And then if you want to give it like a hand touch kind of feel, just lower the opacity, click on a new layer, and draw over it. And just use those basic shapes as the starting point. And then you can really add as many flourishes as you want, play with it. I think it's a really, it's an approachable way to get into text. So what we're gonna start with is just basically the text tool. So on the left side here, we've got the text tool in blue. And if I click on it, boom, it just pops up with lorem ipsum, which if you guys don't know, it's a nonsense language that was made up just to fill texts. So there's more history behind it or something, but it's so useful when you're especially laying out a book. It just fills it in with like garbledy-gook, and you can see what formatting you can use for any text. So let's just use the phrase that I have, a pretty innocuous phrase, let it snow. Let it snow. All right, so we've got this is Gills Sands, apparently. That's the text that we're using. And it's bold, and it's 27, but I want to make it bigger, so I'm going to select all of this. Here we go. Should use the pencil. So select all of this, and then we can make it much bigger. Done. Boom. So that's about the same size. I'm just showing you how I got these letters in. I won't do the whole thing because it would just be too much time. We have things to do today. So what I'm gonna do is do my Anna brand of things, okay? This is not how you have to do it, but this is my fastest way of dealing with text. I flatten the layer so that it's not a text layer anymore. It is an image of these letters. And all I do is select out the letters and move them. Oh, sorry, that was a messy selection, as was that. And I'm going to just select each letter and move it as I see. So I want this one to be slightly tilted, so I just use the transform tool and tilt it slightly. And by doing that individually with each of these letters, it just gives it a little funkiness, a little bit of design, so you can really lay out the letters in a way that is pleasing to you. So that's what I did for all of these letters, and I highly recommend coming up with your own phrase. If you don't like Let It Snow, you could do Winter Wonderland, or, you know, I Love Dogs, or Harry Potter for Life, you know. Any of that is, you know, it's all equally good, but I would lean on Harry Potter, always. So we're gonna just start with this text, and what I did was when all of that was done, all of the letters were in place, all I went down to was... let's see, load as selection. So when you load a selection, it selects everything that's on this layer. I'm on a layer that has like blobby paint on it. Here, and then as that selection was loaded, let's see here. Actually, a better example of this would just be the text that I just deleted. Boom. So I'm gonna load as selection, and then all you have to do is hit the mask tool, which is that filled in square with a circle in the middle missing. Boom, it's a mask. And that allows you to paint on the original layer with whatever color you want. There you go. And it'll always stay within the parameters of that selection, the original one. So that's exactly what I did with the other letters, the actual ones that are in the spot. I'm gonna delete this layer. And I added white and then just like little scratches of a darker kind of gold. And then I have this gold background that has a slight texture to it. All I did was paint with a giant brush across the background a little bit. I would highly recommend just playing around with some of those textures and figuring out what you like. And now under the letters, I kind of want to bring back the effect from yesterday, which I absolutely love what you guys have done with all of the stuff from yesterday. The inspiration that I put up like has spawned so many different kinds of forests and so many different shadow boxes. They're beautiful and I absolutely love what you guys are doing with them. So let's add a shadow to this guy. I just duplicated all of the letters. So basically just like copy that layer, put it down, and put in a dark gold. And if you slightly offset it, boom, there are shadows. But one thing that we can do with this is use the fancy tool underneath that is the lightning bolt, Harry Potter again, the Harry Potter tool. It'll bring up Gaussian blur, one of my favorites. And you can add or subtract Gaussian blur how you see fit. So part of this kind of gives the effect of it being closer or further away from our background. So that's a fun thing to play with too. As well as dragging it further from the letters, it'll feel like the letters are further from where the shadow is being cast. I have it kind of tight, so it feels almost like it's on a play stage background almost, which is super fun to me. I absolutely love that kind of feeling, like old school Mario games, you know, when he goes behind the curtain and you're like, oh, it was a play set the whole time, oh my gosh. Epic, dramatic. All right, so we've got this slightly blurred shadow. I absolutely love how that's looking so far. But I have another option that we can do with the lettering real quick. So we've got this one option where it's just the letters. It's just what we've seen from the text tool. And like I was saying, there's sometimes it's nice to give it like a hand-touched feel. Oh, and sorry, somebody asked in the chat, Aria says, Anna, what version of iPad are you using? This is the 11-inch iPad Pro, the most recent generation, and it's always worked beautifully. Photoshop, Fresco, anything you want on here, it's wonderful. Hey, my husband James is in the chat. Hi, James. He says, I believe it's a newer iPad model. Yes, it definitely is. And James, it's paying off dividends. Look at this investment. Yeah, it's good stuff. Oh my gosh, Kendall says, I have so many ipsums now. Yep, lorem ipsum, you know, it takes over your life. So let's hop back in. These letters are crisp on the edge, and I kind of want to give it that feel of like texture and snowiness. And so I want to pop on this layer where I have basically just painted over with this brush. So this is the Sumi Tilt brush. It's got tons of texture to it. And this is one of the reasons that I loaded this as a mask. There are so many ways to color in letters, but I like using masks when I know I'm gonna change the edge of something, and I have that background filling all of the color. So if I change the edge, it's just gonna fill it with more of the background that I have in there. So we've got the mask here, and the trick with masks is you only paint in black or white. And if you just try one of them out, you'll see, oh, that's revealing, and then the other one hides, so it gets rid of. So I want white here. And I've done this with the previous letters, but I just wanted you to see like exactly what it looks like when you're doing it. It's like one of those therapeutic things, you know? There are a lot of things in art that are very calming, but something about like coloring books and doing things like this where you know what you're doing, there's no question that it's gonna be a cool design. It's just like doing the work. It's methodical. It like trains your brain to kind of relax, and I absolutely love doing stuff like this. This is when I just like turn on YouTube videos and zone out. By the way, just post your favorite YouTube things to listen to in the chat. I would be very curious and also interested in getting some new channels because like I run out of content all the time. So we've got a W, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Kind of the charm of it is not being perfect. So I like that. And it just gives it that little puffiness and that little roundness that I also love. And the last thing that we're gonna do to the text right now is I just added these little lines to feel like it is dropping down. Because of that feeling of a play, it felt like it needed something to hang from. So it's not just, you know, floating out in space. It's very directly hanging from these strings, and it has that feel of being props. And I just love that. Now, you guys might be wondering exactly what is going on with this snowflake-ish thing. I don't know if you caught that, but that's supposed to be part of a snowflake. How I've done this is using the selection tool. If you long press on it on the iPad, you get all of these different shapes. So you can use the brush tool to kind of just like paint on selection. And that's super cool and useful, but not what we're doing right now. So what I used was the basic square marquee tool. The reason for this is I wanted two straight edges that were super clean. You don't have to do it this way, of course, but this is how I did it. So I'm gonna show you on a little example layer what I'm talking about. Using that same Sumi brush, I am just drawing basic shapes here to show, a snowflake kind of shape. What I'm thinking of here is what I'm gonna do to it in the future is duplicating it and flipping it horizontally and vertically. So this isn't just one piece like that it's gonna be done and I'm done. It's going to be flopped over this way and flopped over this way. I'll show you exactly what I mean in a sec. So you can do all sorts of things with this kind of design. Like think of snowflake shapes. When you guys were kids and like cut out snowflakes with paper, all those shapes are so fun to do because they're very pattern based. And again, something that your brain really likes is pattern. So it's really fun to play with this kind of stuff. Make up your own shape designs, maybe like have little hearts or something. Oh, so cute. And you can really go crazy here with whatever you want. So this is our like ugly rough example. So let's delete that, deselect, so we're all good here, and use the pretty example. So this one I just painted like really quickly. It doesn't take much time, but it's really fun to play with different designs. So if you have the time, try out like 3 or 4 and just see what kind of designs come out. And the way to test whether it's a really good design is when you flip it. So let's start flipping this guy. So all we have to do is duplicate the layer, boom, easy peasy. So now we have 2 of the same layer, and then we're gonna go to transform. And in the upper right-hand corner, we've got these options that make this super easy. It is flipping horizontally and flipping vertically. So we're gonna do horizontal first. Boom. So we've got these now symmetrical. It kind of looks like a really cool box, like pattern happening inside there. But what we're going to do is just drag it over so that these guys overlap a little bit and meet. And that is where you're going to start to see the snowflake effect. All right, line it up pretty good. And then all we have to do is duplicate again. Boom. Super easy, very approachable, and very satisfying to watch. So now we've got another box forming, and all we have to do is drag it down and have it reflect down. Boom, it's coming together. Look at that. All right, one last time. Let's duplicate, transform, over to the side, and drag. Look at that. We've got an actual snowflake and it looks like a snowflake. Woo! Did you guys think it was going to look like that? I'm very curious what you guys thought when you first saw that like random shape on the page. Is she ever going to address it? Is it an accident? I don't know. Now it's a snowflake. And this is a very easy one to just like, if you go into here, you can begin multi-select mode and boop, 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 select all of them and merge layers. And then you've got a fully formed snowflake. So let's hop over to the desktop version again so I can show you guys what it looks like over here with the snowflake. Thank you, Paco. So we've got the original snowflake here exactly like I showed, all the duplication. The only difference on desktop, how you would flip things, is if you use one of the bits. Let's do one of the bits. All you would have to do is duplicate it. So I do Control J. Oh, it did the whole group, whoops. Or Command J, whichever machine you're on. And then you just go up to Edit, Transform, and then Flip Horizontal. So it's just a slightly different way of doing it, but like super satisfying, right guys? I love doing this just because it feels like you do a little bit of illustration and it goes a really long way. So tricks like this are just fun. And imagine making patterns, which hint, hint, we're going to get into next week. But like textiles and patterns, this can come together so quickly because of that. Repetition is just so satisfying and it just feeds your brain. So one of the things that I also did is, as an option to up the complexity of this snowflake, because obviously snowflakes need to be intensely complex, is just duplicating the entire process and then lowering the opacity and transforming slightly. So all I did was rotate it a little bit, and the overlap here makes it look like, whoa, what's happening? There's so much stuff overlapping and so much busyness, but in a really satisfying way. You can also, add glows here. You could do a soft white gradient coming out from the center and it would look beautiful. So all of these things are really good options. And the ideas behind this are just like really simple and easy to approach. So I'm really glad that I can do this here for you guys, because if any of you guys are starting out in Photoshop, I want you to feel like you can do anything and you can really approach this no matter what your background, no matter what your experience level, and get something beautiful out of it. I mean, this alone looks pretty cool to me, but we can start adding even more stuff. I mean, we can duplicate the snowflakes all up the wazoo, of course, but I also wanna just like add some simpler snowflakes, add some little dots of color, and just make it like really fun. So I'm gonna go up to the brushes and get that really nice texture. Dry media brushes. If you guys haven't explored all of Kyle's brushes in Photoshop, I highly recommend doing so, because it's so fun to like find your new favorite brush. So we're just gonna add in like random little snowflakes, and this is another opportunity for duplication. So if you get a nice little grouping, boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo, with variety and it feels organic and we've got some nice shapes going on, then you just duplicate. And then you can transform to make sure that it has a lot of randomness to it. And then every single time you duplicate and transform, then you just flatten it down so that it's one layer. And the more you do this, the bigger it'll get. Really easy way to fill a canvas quickly. Boom. All I do is just keep adding, or what do you call it? Like duplicating it and then merging them together over and over again. It's exponential growth for all these snowflakes. So we just keep doing that, and soon we're gonna have a really big canvas full of snowflakes. Boom. And, you know, having them randomly like overlap and stuff, it creates fun little bits of organic flow to the piece. And if anything about it ever bugs you, you can always just erase it out. Super easy. All right, boom, we got one more, and there, it's filled with snow. Snapped out of place. So that was really quick, and I hope you guys feel like it's approachable in that way, that you can just add whatever you like. These could all be individual snowflakes. They could be individual smiley faces. They could be lightning bolts for Harry Potter. They could be pictures of your dog's face, you know? It's whatever you want it to be. And then one last thing I'm gonna try out is just duplicating, transforming. So I'm gonna flip this all upside down so nothing matches. And then we can lower the opacity of this. And it just adds this feeling of like there's snow, but it's going back into the distance. So this was my take on this. I really want to see what you guys would interpret this as, and like adding snow to it, adding letters to it, kind of taking a theme and running with it is a really fun thing. If you do, you know, hashtag Harry Potter for life, this could literally be just a bunch of lightning bolts and that would be really fun. So in the chat, everybody's talking about fonts. I love that. I may have missed this, but what is the font that you used for Let It Snow? Let me look that up on the iPad real quick, because I forgot the name of it as well. It is Gill Sans. Oh, whoops. So Gill Sans is what it's called, and then it's bold, and I just sized it up. So that's the font that we used. Sam Peterson says, really cool, or very cool, sorry. Justin Duncan says, where can we find the brushes? So Kyle brushes and the brushes that come on the iPad version of Photoshop are all just in the program. If you want more Kyle brushes, you just go to the brush layer. Let's see here. Brushes, and then there's like tabs up here that say get more brushes. That's exactly how you load brushes, and if you're a member of CC, all of this is free to you. That is one of the biggest things that I loved about CC. For a long time I clutched onto my old version of Photoshop, and CC offers everything that I used to buy from Kyle Webster. He makes the best brushes, and to have access to all of them is just huge, so I highly recommend looking into all of his brushes and playing with them, like taking some time out of your day just to see what brush types you like. Because I used to think that I liked really clean brushes, and now I'm all about texture. So it changes as you go. Kendall says blend mode would be fun too. Yeah, blend modes on this. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you could turn it to soft light, which is one of my favorites. You could do all sorts of things. Like going through all the blend modes, you can see exactly what they do. Sometimes it's like, why did that happen? I have no idea, but I really like the look of it. How cool. So real quick, I just want to pop back into the Discord so that I can see what you guys have been making, because oh my gosh, it's so cool. So we've got paper cutout trees. Look at these curls. This is from Dama-chan. That is so cool. Like the designs here are just staggeringly beautiful. We've got dogs. We've got dogs, people. I'm doing something right if we've got dogs in the Discord. So many different kinds of trees, and an owl in this one. Little ornaments. I mean, we can combine some of the techniques from today and yesterday and have some really beautiful outcomes. I can already imagine it. We've got like acacia trees, those ones that giraffes eat from. Oh yeah, look at that. Before and after. It's always so satisfying to see a before and after. And I want you guys to post these to Behance when you feel like they're the strongest that they can be. And if you just tag it with PS Daily Challenge, then, oh, we see that owl, same one. Good job, you posted. So if you add this tag to your project, you can keep updating the project as we go, and then you'll have this amazing looking collection. I actually have mine up here as well. I haven't added yesterday's yet because I went to the Adobe holiday party last night, so I was busy. But I made a template where it's got a little mock-up. This image on the right is from Adobe stock. I highly recommend. And then I just put the flat one next to it, and the same thing for the horizontal one. And I added a little tag that said to Mochi, which is my future dog's name. Anthony made it! My best friend Anthony is in the chat, and he said, I made it! Good job, you made it in the last 24 seconds. So I will keep adding to this. I hope you guys keep adding to yours, and just post it with the hashtag PS Daily Challenge. I will see you guys Monday from my home office. I sadly won't have Paco with me. Paco, will you come with me? Please run the stream. He said yes, that's binding. So on Monday, I will see you guys again. Thank you so much for joining in this week. It has been a complete blast, and I love seeing your, not faces, but your words in the chat. All right, bye-bye. Have a good day.